So me personally, I've been asked on multiple occasions of how did I feel about the police brutality and how did I feel about the people reacting with rioting, looting, and burning up stuff. Well, for one, with the police brutality, I mean it hit home because as a black man in America, if the police brutality doesn't bother you or it doesn't put you in a position to know that that could have been you, out of any other black man in America, then I really don't know what you'll, understand or comprehend with that situation. Now, with the looting and the burning, no revolution is peaceful. No people have ever fought for what's right, and it like the peaceful way worked. We learned that when the American colonies went to war with Great Britain. It was no peaceful protest. It was none of that because the people in power only respect loss of life, property, or goods and services. That's the only thing they respect. So me personally, and this is just me speaking for myself, I support what's going on for us, the rioting and everything else, because if you look at history, there has never been no place in history where peaceful protests worked, especially when you're to the point where they're literally shooting black men down like dogs in America. In the other countries in the world, they are watching this, and if they see that the American police officers are shooting unarmed black men down like dogs and nothing is happening to them, excuse me, y'all, they're going to attempt to start doing the same thing with black men. Simply because they feel like if America is doing it and getting away with it, there must not be no value on the black man's life, which is completely wrong. I disagree with that. I have been personally to foreign countries and I have seen how they viewed black man as a cultural whole, and it's not up to par with our essence and our divine, construction, and our divine spark of where we come from, But another thing that I had to put out in this podcast, like, yes, I agree with the rioting and everything else. No revolution is peaceful. No change is ever made without struggle. There's going to be blood. There's going to be tears. There's going to be property destruction. All this stuff history have shown have worked. I've never seen a peaceful revolution. But another thing that I want to get out to the black community is we need more unity. We need to be more unified. Yeah, I want to put it all out to all the youngsters, man. Like, Bloods and Crips was literally like political parties, like smaller political parties that was like an entity of the Black Panther Party. That's what I want to know. I want to let all my young brothers know. Bloods and Crips was originally created to patrol our neighborhoods and to protect our neighborhoods from the Ku Klux Klan and crooked police officers, and to weed out the drug dealers, to weed out the molesters and the stuff like that. All of that bad energy that has consistently plagued our communities over the centuries, or decades, to be more justified. We got to do better, man. We got to put our women on a higher standpoint. We got to start, like, I'm not knocking nobody hustle, but we got to start holding these rappers accountable. We understand they're trying to feed their families, but they shouldn't be feeding their families off the backs of our children, the backs of our children's lives. Because even though, like, adult black males, hopefully majority of them is conscious enough to understand that majority of that rap is not real. They're not living like that, because if they was living like that, those guys would be in prison or dead, But you have our youth listening to this music and they're trying to emulate this. And that's why it's so much destruction and dysfunction within our communities. Fathers have to step up and be fathers. You have the fathers being exited out of the picture by the state, where the state will not help the mother unless the father is not presently in the home. that should be a red flag for the mother to understand. If the state don't want to help me, if my children's father are in the household, then that means that the state wants a divided household. And anybody who know anything about Shao Zhu, the art of war, then they know a divided household cannot stand. So you have these women raising these black kings, and they're growing up under the influence of a woman, so they become emotional like women. They don't learn really just solid morals or solid character, or the traces and all the characteristics of how to be a legit like alpha male. So you have all these emotionally unstable men within our communities, and they get like hard times hit, poverty hit in our communities like no other communities in the world. So you have poverty hit, you have lack of resources, you have lack of guidance, lack of that positive masculine energy within our communities. Then these guys touch these guns, they touch all these weapons. Some of them start doing these drugs to try to escape their reality, and we begin purging on each other. And I want all the young black men, all the young black women to know, like, this is not a mistake. This stuff was planned. This stuff was orchestrated. This is systematic genocide taking place. Well, basically, they're putting everything in place so that we can do this to ourselves. We can kill off each other. So basically, if we kill off each other, where's the justice? And I tell a lot of people, because I have a lot of my Caucasian friends tell me, well, Kirk, they killing each other. They doing this to each other. I want to clear one thing up in this podcast, and I want people to understand. When a black man kill another black man, both of them are gone. Because that black man is gone, they're going to bury him. And the black man that murdered that other black man, they're going to send him to prison for the rest of his life. He's going to fall under the scheme of the corporations of the privatized prison systems, where it's legal slavery. And I want black men to become aware of this. They'll let you do carpentry. They'll let you do electrician work. All of this stuff while under the veil of a prison system. But when you get out of jail, they won't even hire you because they say you have a felony on your record. But they will hire you in prison, paying you pennies to the dollar to do the very exact thing that, to do the very exact thing that they won't allow you to do outside, where they have to pay you a fair price for your work. So I want black men and black women to understand that this is not no mistake. This is not like it just happened to be like this. No, this is years of systematic oppression. This is systematic machines put in place to eradicate the black male. They're attacking us from every angle. Black men are being exposed to, and it's not me going against any homophobic people, but black children are being exposed to that, the homo stuff at a young age. They're being exposed to drugs. They're being exposed to generational pain. They're being exposed to generational energy and frequencies of the Willie Lynch syndrome. They're being exposed to poverty at a young age, death at a young age, corruption at a young age. And the music is not even doing no better, because you have this music. And like I say, I always say I'm not knocking nobody hustle. I'm only here to educate and open your eyes. If you understand that music is a huge deterioration to our economy as a cultural whole, and as a huge deterioration of our community as a cultural whole, and you still listen to it, then that's cool. That means you know the truth, but you choose not to follow the light. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Like I say, inshallah, if God permits, brother, to each his own. But for the ones who don't know, I want y'all to understand, like, that music is programming you. That's why they're putting in there. They got all these black women, they're moving in over-sexualized ways. Their lyrics are over-sexualized. Our little queens and princesses are looking at this stuff, man. And they're being influenced about that because everyone wants to live like the celebrity. Everyone wants to be accepted. Everyone wants to be loved. So they're dumbing themselves down. They're dropping their morals and their codes of standards. And they're becoming what the systematic machine wants you to become, And that's either you're carrying diseases within the community, killing us off. You're creating animosity between the community because you sleeping around with black kings, creating animosity between the black kings. We got to bring back honorable men. Black man, you was never a monster. You was never a slave. You was never what society is telling you are. I want all my black people to go and do research of who you were before slavery. Who you were before the Jim Crow era, who you were right now in present America. Touch down back into your roots. Reconnect with the motherland, of Kubalan, understand where we come from and the greatness that we derive from, and all our black queens, man, teach your little black princes to have morals and standards. You can feel how you want to feel about this podcast. I don't know how to be nothing but real. I'm not perfect, but I'm real. If you'll do anything for money, you're no better, than a slave. Because for the right price, you'll sell your people out. Because if for the right price, you'll sell, explicit pictures and videos of your body. That means for the right price, you will sell your body. You can't tell me that you'll sell pictures and videos and somebody don't offer you the right price and you'll sell your body. You will sell your body. And we got to change that within our community, man. I want y'all to understand most of the huge Caucasian rappers or the huge Caucasian celebrities, you rarely see them talking down on Caucasian women. This is what I want my melanated brothers and sisters to understand. You barely see them talking down on Caucasian women, because those record labels will not support that, because that type of music will send out a type of perception, which your perception creates your reality to young Caucasian women and young and older Caucasian women that they're of lesser substance, or of lesser value to the society, and those in control who's setting up those systematic machines, they don't want that to happen, so they filter out what images that they want to come out. They filter out who they want to put all the bad energy on and the low morale, the low character and all of this stuff on. They filter out who they want to do that on, make being honorable cool again, make being intellectual cool again, make being philosophers and scholars cool again, because black kings, that is our essence. Learn what you eating as well. All my black kings, man, separate from the plantation food. That soul food is plantation food, brother. That is not your original diet of your people. It's not even based on a chemical bias and a chemical build of your body. That plantation food, that cornbread, collard greens, chitlins and all that is what your ancestors had to adapt to survive. But that's not soul food. That food is actually killing you. And if you don't understand that, I can break it down in another podcast that I'm going to do. Or you can visit my brother Yada page and he will show you, I'm talking about, and break it down on the cellular level. Or you can go to the late and the great, God bless the dead, Dr. Sebi, and he will show you how that food is killing you and is messing with your mind. Because you have another stomach, you have a brain in your stomach. You understand? If you don't understand me, just dive deep into it. But you have a gut consciousness as well. And if you have a sick gut, you'll have a weak immune system. If your immune system is compromised, you'll become sick. And I'm talking about mentally, physically, and spiritually. So we got to get in tune as a people. Kings and queens. And for our queens, man, like, We gotta shake back, man. We need more Erykah Badu's, man. We need more Nia Long's, man. We need more black honorable women. Your body is a gift. Anything that is valuable. Why you think they gotta dig in the ground to find gold? Gold is not just sitting on the top of the surface, because gold is very valuable. So you have to look for gold. You have to work to get to gold. Black queens, black princesses, make sure that you're emulating that type of standard. Well, a man have to work to get to you. A man shouldn't go on Facebook and be able to see you in any type of way that he shouldn't really see you, or he can over-sexualize about you. And I'm not saying, that you have to close up the way you want to dress or the way you want to move because of how a man will view you. I'm not saying that. I'm only saying make sure your standards, your morals, and your principles are in place, and support your black kings as well as our black kings should support our black queens, And as well, we need to teach finances in our community. There's a lack of knowledge on finances in our community. In the black community, excuse me, I've been drinking this kombucha, which is actually very, very good for you. It's raw bacteria. It rebalances you and it rebuilds your immune system, and it flushes out your gut and replaces it with healthy gut bacteria. So make sure y'all go check that out. It's GTS Synergy Raw Kombucha. I like golden pineapple. It's really good. But we need to teach proper finances in our communities. Debt is accepted in the black folks community. It's no generational wealth being passed down. We don't even have life insurance policies. I joke around, and I be joking, but I be dead serious. But if black people had life insurance policies in our neighborhoods, especially where all the hyper violence is taking place, we would be one of the richest ethnic groups in America. Because we're being killed by each other. Dozens a day, man. It's just senseless violence. That's why I say, as a cultural whole, we have to get in tune. We have to tap back into self-love. We gotta let go of that self-hatred towards each other. Because if you love yourself, as above, so below. Your perception of other people is a direct reflection of yourself. So, black people, we gotta fall back in love with ourselves, man. We gotta get in tune. Picking up a gun and killing your brother, that's easy to do. But actually sitting your brother down, healing with your brother, teaching your brother how to create a healthy lifestyle and make his money legally, that's gangster, man. That's something that's honorable to do. That's something the hood should celebrate. That's why we getting ready to launch a program, man, where we changing the motives on the hood, man. If you with the negativity, if you with the hatred, we don't want you in the hood, man, because instead of running from the hood or black people moving out the hood, we need to start gentrifying our own neighborhoods. Why wait for the Caucasian, the contractors to come in there, or the land developers, and gentrify our neighborhoods when we have the wealth flowing throughout our communities to do for ourselves? That's saying how they doing a riot, saying how they speaking up, and black people showing that, we care about our people and we're going to stand with our people. We need to do that same way and keep that same energy with our finances, with our self-love, and we need to police our own neighborhoods. We got to do better. We got to get in tune, people. We got to do better, family. Teach your children about life insurance policies. Teach your children about finances. Teach your children about LLCs, self-proprietorships, S-corps. Teach your children about all this type of stuff, how to use debt to get rich. That's why I say black people accept debt in our community, but we accept the bad debt. And this is not me bashing my community. This is me bringing awareness to my community. We have to learn how to get in tune. If you're going to use debt, use good debt. Go out, get these loans, man. Buy you some real estate. Go out, get these loans, man. Invest in your podcast. Invest in your media company. Invest in your water distribution company. Invest into a company that's manufacturing your own food. That's why around like the early 2000s, everyone was saying it's nation time, which I completely agree with that. But at the same time, I'm a realist and I'm an opportunist at the same time. We have to understand we have no means to control the distribution of goods and services within our communities. We barely own banks. We have rarely, like relatively small amounts of grocery stores. We barely own any type of factories that produce anything on a meaningful level to sustain us as a cultural whole. So we have to get in tune with all of that stuff. If we want to get into a nation, first we got to wipe out the self-hatred that is just, I'm talking about flooding throughout our communities. We got to wipe out the jealousy. We got to wipe out the envy, and we got to make being a hater something that's not cool. If your homeboy want to kill this young black king because he made it out and he's doing this thing, man, you should make that known to the entire community what type of person he is, and we should do what the ancient African tribes do, and everyone in that community sits down and tries to help that guy, because for this person to be envious to the point where he want to kill this other king, that means something he sees in that king he doesn't see as in himself. So we got to bring that to the light. We got to have to heal our own, because the system has already showed us that they have no value on the life of a black man, a black woman, or a black child. So as a cultural whole, we're all we have. We have to get in tune. We have to save ourselves. We have to do for ourselves. We have to produce for ourselves, and we have to protect our own, because they're not going to protect us. They're going to put every element in place to keep us killing each other, keep us dumb, docile, out of shape, in debt, and suffering. We cannot allow that to happen. You can add me on my Snapchat at Adrian Kirkland. You can add me on my YouTube channel at KirkDogVivo. And you can add me on my Instagram at Rebende Lowen, REIBENDE_LOWEN. And you can add me on my Facebook at Adrian Kirkland. DM me, man. Come on the podcast. Let's talk about real issues that's going on within our community. And let's start policing and doing for ourselves. And let's fall back in love with ourselves. Getting rid of that hatred and getting rid of that Willie Lynch. Peace, family. I love all y'all.